So I will go to the modifying the file tree. So we have now seen that we can move around in the file tree. But how do we actually create and remove files and directories? And what if I want to copy a file from one directory and move it to another directory? So let's look at doing that. And I could also maybe want to rename. And we will do that through the command line interface. You have seen me use mkdir, and that is used to create a directory. If you give also the flag or the option -p, then you can create a directory with a subdirectory. If you do rm -r and the directory name, you remove the directory. The flag -r means recursive, because otherwise it will not remove a directory unless it is empty. You can add -f, that means ignore non-existent files and arguments and never prompt. Or you can, that is actually default for files, but not for directories. You can add the option -i, that means it will prompt for every single removal. It's safer, but it could be annoying if there were like 500 files. So let us go up to just under exercises. And here I'm going to create a new directory. I'm calling it mkdir. Then I will also create a directory mkdir. And I will use the option -p because I want a subdirectory for it. Because I'm not inventive, I just call it fancy. And let's quickly take a look and see what we have. We have mkdir, which have fancy dir. We have my new dir, which has nothing. We have the ones that we had before. And that means that we could now go ahead and remove my dir because there's nothing in it. So we don't really care. I actually will try do this here now. I will remove it. Then I will create another one. And then I will go to it and I will create something under it, just to show you that you can still remove it. So I'm creating a directory test. It's there. I'm going up. And I will use ls* to see that you have this directory with the other directory under it. I am going to try and simply say rm my new dir tool. And it says I cannot remove, it's a directory. And then we will say -r instead. Then it removes it. Because it does it recursively, so it removes both. So files. When you create files, normally you use an editor, and those we will look at very soon. But you can actually also create a file which will be empty with the command touch. And you can remove files with the same command as with directories. Again, you can use the flag or option -i to make sure you prompt before removing a file. I will try create a file with touch. And I am just going to call it file text. I will do ls to show you it's there. And then I will remove it. I will create it one more time. I will remove it, but this time I will add the flag or the option -I. Then it says, do you want to remove this regular and empty file text? I say Y for yes. It's gone. So here are some a reminder of what the file commands and directory commands do. And then there is an example here. And this example I want you to do is a type along. So again, you can go into the exercises directory, or for instance, but stand anywhere, and then we will do these commands here. So mkdir, and then I will create one called my own test dir, and then I will change to it. That. There is nothing in it, as you can see. I will create test dir 1. I will create test dir 2. So create one more. This. So now I have something to play with. Let's see, they are there. They are. And now let's try remove test dir 3. And I'm trying to do it with the force command. It wouldn't matter in this case because there's nothing in it. It's gone. I will go into test dir 1. There's nothing here. I am creating some empty files. It doesn't matter what they're called. You can call them anything you want to. I'm just creating a bunch to have something to play with. So now there are a bunch of files. You can see there's nothing in them. And they are created so close to each other in time that it can't really show the difference, but it still knows which one is the newest. Try remove one. And you can try simply type the first part of it until 5, for instance, and then push the tab button to do autocomplete. It worked. See, there's now only 4 files. So I'll go up. You can try going to the other directory, to NAISS. You see there's nothing there. And when you have done this, you have successfully moved along a file tree, and you have modified. So this was done on Tetradit, and you saw that it keeps showing the parent directory that you are in, or the directory you are in. So now we know how to create files, how to create directories, and how to remove directories, as well as how to move up and down the file structure. But what if we want to copy something instead of recreating it? The same command can be used to copy files as to copy directories. And for instance, you can also you can use copy if you had a file and you wanted to copy it from where you are to a specific directory. So I will go up from this directory here. I will go into testdir1, and there you can see I have some files there. And maybe we should put up one again and create a file here in this my own testdir that I created. I will create my file .text. It is there. And now I say this file here, I would really like that it was in the directory testdir1. But I still want to keep it where it is, so I will copy it. So cp for copy, my file, text, and then testdir1. And I will do ls star to show that indeed the file is still here, but it's also now in this directory. So it worked to copy it there. What then if I wanted to copy the whole directory testdir1 into testdir2? Could I do that? Sure. You can. Let's see what happens now. If I can spell that. It is telling me there is a subdirectory. How do I handle that? Well, I do it by saying -r. And then it comes. That is for the cursor. And you see it's now here. And actually, it is I'm going back. It's easier to see. So you have testdir1, and then you have the content that was in testdir1 also under that. So it did copy everything as it should. So that is good. And just like before, you can add -i, and that is for interactive, and that assures you that it won't be overwritten, because if there already was a file inside that had the same name, then it would have been overwritten. So you have to be careful, because copy will overwrite existing files with same name unless you add the option -i. So be sure or be careful. Otherwise, you may risk overwriting something and thus losing it. So here is something I'm actually going to let you do as an exercise instead, because I actually did more or less the same thing here. So go ahead and try do this as an exercise. Let's take 2 minutes, because there shouldn't be very many commands, and then just give all of these commands. You first need to go up to where you had this exercises tarball unpacked. And that would be either in your home directory or in the project storage. So for me, that is here. So from there, you can follow this example here completely. And again, this is the structure, and there is now also other directories because we created some, which we also created them. And I will sit and slowly do the same thing while you're doing this exercise. Okay, I will continue. So now we have seen that we can copy files and directories, but we would like to also be able to rename them. And we do that with the mv or move. So we move it to a file or directory in another name. And if we want to rename file 1 to file 2, we would do mv file 1.txt to file 2.txt. And we do the exact same thing to rename a directory to another directory. It's also possible to use this actually to copy it. And you can also do it interactively. Again, this can be good if you want to avoid overwriting a file with the same name. I believe some of the centers has this as default, so it will not overwrite unless you tell it to with force or F. But if your center or your computer doesn't have that on, it can be safer to add -I so that you avoid overwriting something. And I'm not going to do this exercise because I have the solution written here. So you can do that in the break in a little while, but I would like to also do the editor section. I think we are a little bit late, very late. I will definitely go through the editors now, and you can do the exercise in the break. So I will just quickly cover what symbolic links are. Symbolic links, they also call soft links or symlinks. It's a pointer to another file or directory. And the reason for using them is that you avoid typing, for instance, a long path each time you change to a directory. Say maybe you have a project storage directory and you don't want to type /project/ no backup / the name of it / your home directory / the path, whatever. Each time you go there from your home directory, which is where you end when you log in. So instead, you type this command here to make a symbolic link, and then you could just take the name of the symbolic link to go there directly. Another very important reason is that you may want to avoid changing hard links within scripts and programs. And that can be very useful because maybe you have a program that assumes a library is called something specific, just the name of the library.a and not .2.0.a or .web or whatever, because it will often have the version in it, for instance. And then you just make a symbolic link to it, and then you don't have to rename the library. You don't have to update a lot of instances in your program. You simply change the symbolic link when you get a new version of the library. So I will go to my home directory with cd. I will create a symbolic link, ln for link, -s for symbolic, and then the real path, in this case, proj r -matlab -julia -NAISS users, and then my username. So that is a path, and I'm going to call it my storage. And if I now do here, this home, let's see, it should be somewhere. It is, it's there, and it's marked in blue for a symbolic link. We could do -L here. Then it shows the full names also, and it shows here that's what I created earlier. My storage points to this directory here. And that means that if I'm in the home directory, I can just do cd my storage. And I'm now actually back in my project storage, which is what I wanted to be able to do. And in here, I had the intro Linux directory I had created. I had the exercises directory. And that is much easier than having to type a whole full path each time.